lo conosce, è un medico, neurochirurgo e ricercatore che da anni divulga in modo straordinario la scienza della dieta carnivora e del metabolismo umano.
Big question of the cholesterol. So people are genuinely scared of it. They hear that high cholesterol means danger, heart attacks, or that they should go on statins forever. This is what the doctor says. So from your perspective as a physician, and you know better than anyone else carnivore diets, how can we help people understand?
Study actually showed that as you reduce cholesterol, cardiovascular mortality rate goes up, not the opposite. And that's what the American Heart Association said. And they've been long compromised. I mean, from the beginning, they were compromised. They were paid the equivalent of $20 million by Procter & Gamble to basically just make a statement saying that Crisco, which is hydrogenated vegetable oil, which was actually used as machine lubricant by the German army until they sold it to Procter & Gamble in 1911. In medical school, we're only taught the associative studies. So let's talk about the associative studies, because there are things like the Framingham study was just like, well, this just proves it all. But it's an association. It's not, it can't show causation. And we have the cause and effect studies. They showed no, absolutely not. It's actually the opposite. Well, why did the Framingham study show that there was a relationship? Well, the fact of the matter is that it didn't. The American Heart Association actually misrepresented the association of all people, sent representatives to this committee and actually said, well, American Heart Association is firmly against taking soda off the thing. It was like, and people were shocked. They got such bad backlash that they was, oh, well, you guys misunderstood what we said. No, we didn't misunderstand what you said. You said point blank that you should keep soda on the SNAP program, randomized controlled trial of the Minnesota coronary experiment. We now know that he was on the payroll of the sugar companies, and he did something called to paint cholesterol as a problem and to say that sugar is safe and say, hey, buy sugar instead. And he did that. He did something called the 7 Nations study, which actually was cherry-picked. The 7 countries showed this exponential increase in association. But what he didn't do was include the 15 other countries that he studied that showed absolute countries that he fully studied. Just those 7 that he cherry-picked. The relative risk association was like 0.85 or 6 or something like that, right? So that shows how closely associated this is, and go to 1, right? As 1 is just like guaranteed. This is it. So this is a 0.86. So that's a high relative risk association. And then he said, don't eat fat, eat sugar instead. The problem with that statement is that in the 7 Nations study of meta-analyses of randomized controlled trials, they're looking at all the best randomized controlled trials and meta-analyses on the subject of saturated fat intake and cardiovascular disease. And they found absolutely no association whatsoever between increased saturated fat consumption and cardiovascular disease. In fact, they found an inverse relationship between saturated fat and stroke rate. So the more saturated fat people eat, the lower their stroke risk, the less saturated fat they eat. We know this physiologically because your body wants homeostasis. It wants a specific amount of cholesterol. It makes it on purpose.